Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
BBN Jack first. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having we got a lot to talk about. I want to say something real quick. And just start the whole show off, I just want to say something real quick. And I want to be clear on this. Remember a couple of years ago, we used to always have this specific saying that we used to say, and that's sometimes you have to let the lie live. I'm going to explain that right now because I don't think I appropriately explained it before, or even if I did, I think it needs a second explanation or a second time being explained, but it's the same explanation. Just so we could be clear, sometimes you have to let the lie live because the people who told the lie, they're just waiting to tell more lies. You understand what I'm saying? So if you put the kibosh on the lie too early, the people who they're deceiving don't understand how deceitful they actually are. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm saying all of that to say this. Trump has negotiated the release of the hostages in the Israeli-Hamas war. If I recall, we had, and I'm just waiting for the Democrats to come out and talk about how this is a bad thing. Because you know the Democrats are going to be like, those hostages is getting released. Down with Trump. He's a king. First of all, there's only one king, and that king is Jesus. I want to be clear on that. There is no other king. It's Jesus. It's not James. It's not Edwards. It's Jesus. Just want to be clear on this. Now, with that being said, I am 100% certain that the people that are Democrats, that are sensible, are now waking up. There's a ton of Democrats that are just not sensible. But I am certain, in my heart of hearts, that the Democrats who are not blinded by foolishness is now waking up. The whole world is talking about how great Trump is, with the exception of two parties. The Hamas and the left. Everyone else is talking about how great the situation that Trump has created is. So I want to be clear on something. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. And we're getting right into the show. If you are still one of these individuals who are just picking a new thing to hate Trump over, because you keep finding out all of these other reasons to hate him aren't good reasons, or they just don't exist anymore. Because let's be clear, how many reasons have they come up with why we should hate Trump that have been found out to be wrong? I'll start with one right now. Remember they said he was kicking he didn't want to rent to black people? That's not what happened. Did you ever hear about the story of the homeless lady that somehow snuck into Trump Towers and was living in one of the apartments for like who knows how long? And then when management found out, they were going to kick her out, but Trump found out they were going to kick her out and let her stay there indefinitely? Y'all don't hear about those stories, right? How about when Reverend Jesse Jackson was running for president? who pulled up and was like his biggest supporter and biggest financial provider? They don't talk about that though. Remember when in the 80s, black people would constantly get in trouble? They would be trying to do back then what we would consider now to be canceling. And who always showed up on the back pages with these same black people getting them out of the cancel list? Trump. Y'all loved Trump until he ran for president. Then all of a sudden, he is the worst thing that ever existed. I want anyone now that's running around outside talking about that you are Hamas. I think the government should just ship you out of Palestine. I'm dead serious. I think the government should start shipping you out of Palestine. You're Hamas. They should allow you to live there. Especially the women that say that they're Hamas. I think we should find any Muslim country of your preference. It doesn't matter to me. And I think we should send you there. I think that would be fair. Because this is what's going on in the rest of the world as far as Trump is concerned.
There was this banner that was displayed on the beach in Tel Aviv, a giant thank you, just to kind of speak to the moment, Sarah, of what kind of Israel is bracing for right now, as the president is expected to be here. He's only going to be here for less than 5 hours on the ground in Jerusalem, but he'll be speaking to the members of the parliament. He'll be meeting families of hostages and hostages themselves.
So once again, the only people right now who have a problem with Trump are terrorists, people who are in the country illegally, in America illegally, and I'm talking about on the whole entire planet, just so we can be clear. It's people who are basically terrorists, not even all the terrorists, just so we can be clear, just some of them. Because how else? I'm about to tell you how they got Hamas back in 1 minute. I'm about to tell you how they got the soldiers, how they got the hostages back from Hamas in 1 minute. And then you'll understand what I'm saying right here. The people, not even all terrorists, just some. The left, and here in America, the Democrats hate Trump. If you ask them why, they can't give you a real reason. They'll just say platitudes. And people who want to destroy America. So I want to be clear about one more point real quick, because I got a thing I'm going to say, right? And I'm trying to prime it so we can get to the point where I'm about to say a thing and you're going to be like, "Oh shoot. Jack got a point." How is Trump supposed to negotiate with China, with Russia, if the Democrats want to make Trump has to be disrespectful to them? You understand? They say, well, Trump's disrespectful to us. Why isn't he disrespectful to them? No, Trump is not disrespectful to y'all. He just shines a mirror on your BS.
Prime Minister of Israel, I extend my hand to hold those who seek peace with us. No one wants peace more than the people of Israel. Israel will always remain vigilant in defending itself, and Israel will always remain full of hope. Hope is our national anthem. Hope is our creed. Hope is our strength. It is time, my friends, to realize that hope and expand the circle of peace. Mr. President, thank you for all you have done for us. I have submitted your nomination to be the first non-Israeli recipient of the Israel Prize, Israel's highest award. As to that other prize, just a question of time, you'll get it. But I want you to get the Israel Prize, our highest award, to our greatest friend.
For anybody that's been on this page anytime, when Trump first went and decided he wanted to run for president, I was definitely not speaking in his favor. At all. There's many things that revolve around Trump that I was ill-informed of. And as I became more informed of not just Trump, but what the Democrats were preparing to do, that moved me to the side of, first of all, patriotism. I think the problem that we have in the black community is any nation, any race of people, anybody that want to try to get us to favor them, all they have to do is say, we hate white people too. That's it. I hate that our black people are like that. Because that's not how Jesus wants us to be. That's not how God wants us to be. And that's not how the Bible talks. So I kind of hate that our people are like that. I think our people need to be different, in my opinion. I don't like that all a person has to do is go up to a black person and say they hate white people. And that black person is going to be bosom buddies with them till they die. I don't like that. I'm literally a person that I don't befriend people. I don't do negative bonding. I will not bond with you over a negative situation. I just won't. I refuse. Because one of the things that people love to do is cause for something bad to happen to you. A lot of the times while they're standing there and or something that they experienced, then now they want to try to do a kumbaya with you. It's not always their fault, but it is sometimes. I don't do that, and I don't care. I'm not going to trauma bond. I have an individual that I know that always talks about how mentally strong they are. And at the same time, they also talk about how they don't care about nothing. That's not mental strength. Shout out to them, right? Because I'm not shooting at them. But that's not mentally being strong at all. Not caring about something isn't being strong mentally. And the reason why I'm pointing that out real quick is because that's what I believe a lot of the people on the left issue is. There's things that they should care about that they just don't. They've been told that these things either aren't important or their politicians don't deem them as important. So therefore, they can't think on their own and they just assume that these things are not important. When those hostages got released, right? Why are the people, this is a great, I'm about to make a point. Why are the Arabs, the Muslims in Pakistan, and pardon me, in Palestine, saying thank you, Trump? The Israelis in Israel is saying thank you, Trump. What in the hell are these people over here talking about they are Hamas? If it's not obvious right now that Hamas is the problem, what are they talking about? All of you leftist lunatics, because that's what I'm going to call the extreme left. Not everybody who's a Democrat is a lunatic, just so we could be clear. I'm talking about the lunatics in your party. How in the hell are you out here actively putting on the internet that you are part of, that you agree with a terrorist organization? You want that terrorist organization to continue to thrive. And you're calling Republicans Nazis? I'm fine with Sharia law in any country that is an Arab country. That's a Muslim country, pardon me. Because there's Christian Arabs, for everybody that don't know. I'm fine with Sharia law being in any Muslim country. God says that we should live by the laws of the country that we are in. I'm fine with Sharia law being in every other country other than the one that I live in. Because I would not live in a country with Sharia law. Specifically because it doesn't agree with the Bible. And it's extreme. It's extremely extreme. Now, do I think our laws over here in America is loose? I think that there's a lot of change that we need. I think there's a lot of things that we should do differently. I think that there's laws that need to be enacted. But I also don't think that women should have to be forced to go outside fully covered all the way up to their eyes. I don't think that. I don't think that women should be prevented from leaving out of the household without a male. I don't think that should be illegal. I don't think that husbands should be able to rape their wives. I don't think that should be a thing. These are all aspects of Sharia law. I think that store right there sells pork. I personally don't eat pork. But I don't believe that I have a right to go over to that store and tell them that they can't sell it. So, I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone. Muslim, non-Muslim, Christian, non-Christian. I think that you should have the right to live under the laws of the nation that you're in. But you do not have the right to go to other nations and force them to live under your rules, and that includes America. America does not have the right to go to another country and tell another country that they now have to be American. I hate it when they've been doing that for the last 30 years, 40, 50 years, however long they've been doing, when they've been going to these African countries and saying, the only way we're going to give you any kind of support is if you do the things we want. I hate that. That's wrong. If you're going to assist somebody, assist them. If you're not going to assist somebody, don't assist them. But don't tell them, I'm only going to help you if you do this one thing. I'm finding out later in my life a couple of things, right? And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and it dawned on me. Moments that you think are important, other people don't care about. Keep that in mind when someone disrespects you. Keep that in mind when you get upset and you get angry. The person who's doing that, they don't care. Be mindful of that. The reason in which why I'm saying this is, I don't think the liberals care. I don't think the far extreme left care. Those people out there messing with the ICE people, I don't think they care. I don't think they care who dies. I don't think they really care who lives. I think they just want to live themselves and not die. But any other bad thing that happens, as long as it pushes their agenda, they love it. I really think they need to just start arresting every single person that shows up to those ICE buildings. Every last one of them. As soon as they even cross any boundary that they're not supposed to, just lock them up. Give them no bond, no bail. Hold them until their court date. And I promise you this would end. This will end. All of this would end. Because two things you're going to find out. The first thing is many of those people that's out there ain't American. They've been shipped from a whole nother country. They just speak English well and could mimic our accents. That's one thing you're going to find out. The second thing you're going to find out is the actual Americans, there's few of them. And once they stop showing up, the numbers aren't even going to really decrease until the foreigners stop showing up. I want to change the subject for 1 minute, but we're talking about the same thing. So I've been discussing with y'all, and basically what we're talking about is liberals are bananas. They do nothing but lie to their voters. I feel bad for people who've been Democrats and want to stay a Democrat, but they also want to do the right thing. For you all that don't care about doing the right thing, whatever, get to it. But for the people who love God and want to do the right thing, but they also want to stay Democrat, I'm going to explain something to you. You cannot love God and be a Democrat right now. Everything that they stand for, God is against. Whatever it is that you could think about that they're advocating for, 9 times out of 10, God is against. Now, I'm saying that to say this. They do nothing but lie. So I need to just explain something real quick. Hold on. Let me see if I'm going to bring a screen up for you. I forgot what they called it. Hold on. I'm bring the screen up for you. No, gotta get this off the screen. Hide these tabs. I don't need that. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to think about how I should phrase this. Right. Because I don't know the name of the statute. I don't know the name of the... Hold on. It says it's inaccurate. The law did not legalize domestic violence, but rather lifted restrictions. It's tomato fucking tomato! The Monk Act. This law prohibited the domestic dissemination of information materials produced by the U.S. government for foreign audiences. It was extended to create a firewall protecting Americans from government-funded propaganda efforts meant for foreign countries like the Soviet Union and the Cold War. So just so we could be clear, America was putting out lies to trick other countries, and the Monk Act was created so that those lies wouldn't be put in America. They wouldn't be able to broadcast them in America. Right? So is it 2012? The bipartisan group of lawmakers, including Republican, yada yada, Democrat Adam Smith, passed the Smith-Monk Monitoration Act in 2012. This was signed into law by Obama in 2013 as part of the National Defense Authorization Act. So basically, just so we could be clear, because this is misleading when they say inaccurate and stems from misunderstanding, that's they just trying to run game. So basically, the law prohibited the domestic dissemination of information, right? And materials produced by U.S. government for foreign audiences, right? Just so we could be clear. So Americans don't see protecting Americans from government-funded propaganda. What they changed was the ability for government to now use propaganda on American citizens. They removed the ban on distributing materials from government international broadcasters within the U.S. You're like, why did he just show us that? What up, hip hop? I'm doing the news today, man. Drop some comments in the comment section. Maybe we do the news tomorrow also. So I want to be clear about... Wait, which screen? Oh, I got the... okay. What? I put the wrong screen on. Sorry about that. So I want to be clear about something. Right? When they lifted the Month Act, what they actually did was made it so that people could go on live television broadcasts, BS, and say things that weren't the truth and not be held to that statute. But look at what happens when news programs start realizing that now their numbers are going down. I need for y'all to understand this. CNN is not doing well. MSNBC, they're not doing well. Their numbers is in the garbage. And the reason why that is because they've been lying like crazy. Not because people have been attacking their platform. Because sometimes people just attacking your platform. Like for you're saying the truth. That's not why. They've literally been caught in lies. Hold on. Here they go trying to lie again.
Well, first of all, we don't view the current bill as anything other than a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the healthcare of the American people.
It's at levels that you guys have already agreed to. A number of Democrats voted for this extension back in March. It's not adding or detracting anything. It's just continuing the levels of spending that currently exist.
Actually, it's not at levels that we agreed to. Democrats strongly oppose this legislation in the House because, in our view, it gut veterans' health care, gut funding for women, infants, and children programming, gut funding for affordable housing, and we know we have a housing crisis in this country. Housing costs are too high.
Just to be clear, though,
and
it's not changing current. It's not changing current levels. Nothing's getting cut. It's at levels that you may not like, but it's about extending levels as they currently exist. Fair?
Right. We agree that current spending levels are unacceptable.
So let's get some clarity going real quick. Let's get some clarity going real quick. I want to make sure that we're clear on a specific point. Right? Let's get some clarity going real quick. In March, or whenever, March or May, or whenever that month was, when they initially signed off on the CR, which is a continuing resolution. That's because we do not have a budget. So in order to keep the government funded, they sign off on different things that they're going to fund the government until we could get an actual budget going. And then when we get the budget going, then, you know, they already have place for everything that's going to get funded. So basically, right now, you know, while there is no continuing resolution, the government hasn't decided where it's going to put its money. They haven't did any, you know, they don't know where they haven't signed off what they're going to actually be, where they're going to actually be spending the government money at. The continuing resolution says we're going to keep these guys paid. We're going to make sure those guys have money until we figure it out, right? Everybody gets the appropriate support that they need. So when they signed this in March, the Democrats, as far as I can tell, went absolutely balls to the wall trying to get the American people to then be on their side. But the Democrats are slow. And I'm talking about the leadership. They're slow. They don't realize that the lies that they have been telling don't work anymore. So they're doing two things that is absolutely killing them. And the first thing is they keep repeating the old lie. People know that the old lies are lies now. So every single time they repeat those old lies, all they doing is making people more on Trump's side. What's an old lie? Trump is a rapist. The damn lady already admitted that she lied. What are you still talking about that Trump is a rapist? She already admitted that she never even slept with Trump. Accidentally also. Just so I can admit. She admitted it accidentally, not on purpose. She's just, you know, not as good as an actor as they would have wished her to be. So that's one thing, right? He didn't grape anyone. What's another thing? When they said that he called Nazis fine people, he never said that. What he said was, and this isn't verbatim, but this is what he said. For everybody that don't know, in Charlestown, I think that was the name of the place. It's a college. It's a little college town, and so they had a statue up that was for taking down. They're going to take the statue down because the statue was like a Confederate statue or something like that. And so the actual people who live in the town and the actual people who go to the college in the town, you know, the people who are in the town, they was like, we don't want this anymore. I don't know if they should have wanted to take it down, by the way, just so we could be clear. But, you know, I wouldn't have cared. I don't care if it's up or if it's down, just so we could be clear. So they decided they were going to take down the statue, and upon this happening, a lot of people who favor the Confederate Party, and for whatever the reasons they have, they decided to go and they want to keep the statue up for whatever the reason is, and they argued that they want to, you know, they put on their protests, all types of different mess. During this situation, a guy took a car and plowed it through a crowd of people. And I think 5 people got hit and at least one lady lost her life, right? So there's a lot going on behind that. I'm not going to get into it. The guy in the car said that they was attacking his car. He was trying to get out of there. And then there's kind of proof leading to that his car was getting attacked and he was trying to speed out. So there's a lot going on there. I'm not going to go back and forth with it. I'm just telling y'all the logistics of what was going on for the most part. During the press conference, Trump was asked about both of these parties. It was deemed that the party that ran over the person was the party of the racists, right? Because those were the people who were coming into town that wanted to keep the statue up. So it was deemed that they were the racists. So when Trump was asked about the situation, he basically said, well, there's people who want the statue to stay up that are good people, and there's people that want the statue to go down that are good people. That's it. That's what he said. He didn't say it like that, but that's what he meant. And by listening to him, it's not hard to tell that that's what he meant. The Democrats spent it that he was saying there's good racists when he never said that. This is one of the reasons why when people tell me they hate Trump, I'm just usually like, I think you're brainwashed. I think you're a victim. You got the victim mentality. That's another reason why it's so easy to control blacks. I think you just got the victim mentality, and they have deemed that Trump is a victimizer, so therefore you hate him. Even though he's done nothing wrong, done nothing to you, didn't do anything to anybody, hurt no one or anything like that. He's just a person that you can now look at and be a victim of. And I know how this feels because people do that to me. Even to this day. People just make themselves random victims. People do that to me to this day. It's absolutely bananas. So, I know how it feels. A lot of y'all most likely also know how it feels. To have a person just make up a thing about you. You don't even know what the hell they're talking about. They just take your words and... I got this person. I'm not gonna call their name or nothing like that. I just need to talk about the situation. I need to explain the situation, see where I'm coming from better. I got a person that I know. I like the person. I don't dislike the person. Just so we could be clear. But one thing that they always do when we're in a conversation is, especially in a conversation where they're saying stuff where they don't know what they're talking about, and I'm trying to handle it with kid gloves because I do like the person and I don't want to disrespect them. So I'm trying to handle it with kid gloves. The first thing they do is get disrespectful towards me. I eat it. For reasons. And then they start playing the word game. They start, you should have said if instead of saying of. You should have said this instead of saying that, like that. You should have said then instead of saying. So that's what the conversation becomes. A complete conversation about anything other than what we're actually talking about. And that's what they do to Trump. anytime you bring up any valid point to a liberal, they're going to talk about either you didn't say it to them right, you didn't say it to them the right way, you should have told them before. They're going to come up with a million reasons that make no sense at all about why they either don't believe you or you're wrong. It's very frustrating. And whenever dealing with people who do that, and this is just from experience, whenever I know that a person is like that, I try to like not give them anything. You understand what I'm saying? Like I start cutting conversation off with them. I talk to them less because I like them. So I don't want to stop talking to them, but I also don't want to constantly have to. I'm not gonna be arguing with you every day. We're not doing that. So if I see you 3 days out the week, I might talk to you one of those days. If I see you 5 days out the week, I might talk to you 2 of those days. You know, or let's see if this behavior has changed because I like the person in any regard. So I say all that to say this. And this is gonna hurt a lot of people. But you cannot be a Democrat and love God. All of their policies go against the Bible. I'm not saying that to shame anybody. I'm saying that because I want you to turn away from the things that are not letting you get into heaven. I want you to turn away from those things that's removing you from God's sight. I had someone say, let me see if I can find the thread real quick. So I'm on Instagram, and I comment on the Instagram, and I use my other account way more than I use. What's that? I'm plugging. So I use. Sheesh. I love orange on dark-skinned women, and I love brown on light-skinned women. Like I love orange and brown just in general, just so we can be clear. But on light-skinned women, brown and tan just hit different. It just hits different. They look good on dark-skinned women. Don't get it confused. Everything look good dang near with dark-complected people. But when you got a light-skinned female and she has, I'm not talking about white specifically, but also white women. But when you got a light-skinned female and she has on the right shade of tan and the right shade of brown, she's gonna blow up every scene, every spot. Let me see if I can find this thing real quick. So let me tell you what happened. So I'm on Instagram and I commented on a post.
And the fact that many of these ICE agents are.
I commented on a post. And a person put that politics and the Bible should be separate. We got to get away from that train of thought. It's dangerous. God should be in every single aspect of our lives, from the way that we wash ourselves, to the way that we eat, to the people we talk to. He should be in every aspect of our life. Imagine saying you love God, but you're not going to have him be involved in how you vote. And how you vote is how we structure the country. So you're going to vote different than your religious beliefs. That's insane. I hate that churches, and my church don't necessarily have this problem. And I'm saying necessarily because I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. But I hate when churches just totally ignore politics. I think churches should be absolutely involved in politics. Just so we could be clear, isn't a king in his court a political entity? When we talk about a king, when we talk about his court, the people who advise him, that's a political entity. Jesus is king. So what is his disciples? And let me just tell you why some of these books was written in the first place, so you can understand. Because I think another problem we have is people don't even understand why some of these Bibles that exist. So you don't understand that the Bible is actually a manifesto, and it's a manifesto of a lot of different things, but also how to run a government. So let's talk about a couple of books real quick. I'm going to talk about a specific book real quick. Is it Chronicles I'm thinking of? Corinthians. The book of Corinthians, right, was written by, I'm going off the top of my head, either Peter or Paul, I think. Well, anyway, that's not the important part. But it was written for the people who lived in Corinth. And it was a way how to live. It was the way that we're supposed to be living. In other words, he wrote this book, right? It's 2 books, I believe, right? He wrote Corinthians to give to the Corinth people so they knew how to govern their people inside of the Lord. That's politics. So you can't tell me, who understands that quite a few of these books is written in order for you to know how to govern not just yourself, but your family and the extension of. But they got people telling you that you shouldn't use the Bible, these books that's in the Bible, to determine who you should vote for. Why would God say that we're supposed to live by the laws of the nation that we're in if we are also supposed to keep the Bible separate from politics? Explain that. Shout out to A Game. I have like a ton of these right now. I'm knocking these out. This is tropical right here. It is great for hydration. It's the ultimate hydration. Shout out to A Game. Y'all got to go check these out. Great drink. And tasty. So I want to be clear about something. I want there to be zero misunderstanding. When a person tells me that they're a Democrat, but they also try to tell me that they love God, I have to question. Now, when a person tells me, you know, I've been voting Democrat for years, I really don't want to stop voting Democrat, and that they love God, I get it. I can understand that. It makes sense. I need 1 second. I need to plug in I need to plug something in. I'm hoping I don't unplug everything by accident. 1 second. I did that earlier, by the way. I plugged something in and accidentally unplugged everything right before we came on live. Y'all can hit that like button if you are enjoying any of the content. Also, if you have any questions about anything, put it into the chat. More than happy to answer. And if you just want to say something, even if it's on a different subject or a different topic that you would like for me to address, put it in the comment section. So I want to be clear about something. And this is not hate. This is me wanting more people to be inside of God's love. Right? We're all inside of God's love. Let me correct that. Inside of God's preference. I want everybody to be blessed, but we cannot be blessed if we're going against God. So I want everybody to go with God. I'm going to tell you how mixed up and confused people are sometimes. I had a person who is in the church actually knows my situation. And I am so immensely blessed. I want to just take a moment to say, shout out to the Most High. Glory be to God. Jesus is King. I live in an incredible place. All right. Shout out to Seagate. I live in an incredible place. We got incredible people here that are doing incredible things. I hope to one day be able to live up to any expectation or expectations that are positive inside of God that people have for me. Because this is an incredible community. And I'll be lying to you if I tell you that there's not people here that I absolutely love and that I think are great people. So I'm saying all that to say this. There's an individual that was in the church, that is in the church, right? And they had the nerve one day, because they know about the blessings that I have. Shout out to the Most High, glory be to God, Jesus is King. And they had the nerve one day to say that Satan was giving me the blessings. Like, gotta be careful. Sometimes Satan is blessing you. I'm going to be a jerk right now, right? I'm going to be a jerk, and I'm going to show y'all something. Hold on, I'm going to be a jerk. Just because, right? I'm going to be a jerk. All right? This isn't really jerk behavior, right? What I'm about to do, but, you know, some people might not like it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show y'all what, is it 1 Timothy? I think it's 1 Timothy. Hold on. Is it 1 Timothy? I'm going to show y'all something real quick. I'm not even going to say it out loud. Y'all can see it on the screen. Wow, this is incredible. Both of these passages, well, the first passage right here, in 1 Timothy, that's what we're actually talking about. But the second one is what I was talking about a moment ago, about us not living in a manner that is going to allow for God to bless us. Right? That is what I was just talking about a second ago, isn't it? See how the world works? So I was having a conversation with somebody about this the other day. They told me I was wrong. Whatever. It is what it is. You have your opinion, and it's fine. Like, I'm just telling you what the Bible said. You have your opinion, it's fine. It's cool. It's not, I'm not shooting at anybody. But I want to be clear about something. Extremely, extremely clear. The head of Christ is God. The head of man is Christ. And the head of woman is man. Hey, y'all want to know how to increase your blessings? Be more protective of women. I promise you, if you're more protective of women, and that in times means telling them things that they don't want to know, just so we can be clear. It doesn't just mean, oh, put them up, don't hurt her. It doesn't just mean that. Remember, the first line of protection is direction, right? Instruction. Be more protective of women. I promise you, your blessings will go up. This don't mean take crap from a woman just because she's a woman. I'm going to take crap from her. I'm not saying that. I'm saying look at women as what they're supposed to be. Just like women should be looking at us like what we're supposed to be. Men are supposed to be providers and leaders. If you're not out there protecting women, how can you be either which one of those? And I'm not talking about protecting women that's out here doing wild stuff. She's just being an ass and you're just going to go throw your life away. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about you see a woman out in the street and she hit a man and then the man hit her back, so you jump in and fight the man. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about advice. I'm talking about guidance. I'm talking about guardianship. Guardianship is standing around making sure that nobody assaults an individual. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about that. I promise you your blessings will go up. Because you'll be living inside of the ordinance. See, as long as we're not living in... I need to break and talk about this, and then we get back to Trump. As long as we're not living inside of the... Hold on. So as long as we're not living inside of the ordinance that has been placed, I'll save it and then I'll slap it over here. As long as we're not slap it. As long as we're not living inside of the ordinance that has been placed, there's always going to be problems and there's always going to be issues. I wish I had my other, because it's so much easier to know how to do some of this. Where's the plus minus sign? Here we go. Oh, this is not in, but we could see enough of the enough, right? So this is the problem, and this is why our communities is being destroyed, and this is why they fight so hard to put women above men. And when I say they, I specifically mean the left and the people, not even the left, the people who are against Christ. Literally. Right? So they might be people on the right that's against Christ. They might be people that have no affiliation that's against Christ. And what they want to do is they want to put the wife above the husband. Because once you put the wife above the husband, then the connection with Christ is broken. And if there's no connection to Christ, there's no connection to God. So I'm saying things. I know people are going to disagree with me, but you're not really disagreeing with me. You're disagreeing with the Bible. So that's between you and God. Christ is the ultimate head of the family. The husband is the head of the wife. Responsibility for leading and providing for the family, and should love his wife as Christ loved the church. Isn't that what I was just talking about? Wife is to submit to her husband as is fitting to the Lord and expected to nurture and teach children. Children are to obey and honor their parents. So what's happening is this. Listen and pay attention. The wives are not submitting to their husbands. But let's even go even further back than that. The husband, who is the head of the household in many situations because of the way the world is right now, is not providing for the family. So let's talk about Trump for 1 second. Why does Trump keep talking about getting black men jobs? Why does Trump keep talking about black jobs being stolen? And then when Trump ships the illegals out of the country, so black people could then go get those jobs, we have our black people, mostly our women, upset about it. So hold on. The husband, who is the head of the wife, is responsible for providing for the family. Also, he's supposed to love his wife as Christ loved the church. So that's not happening. Also is just not happening. Because women aren't choosing men that are going to love them. Just being honest with you. A woman will see a man that will love her until her dying breath, and she'll be like, "He a simp." I'ma use him. A woman who see a man that would die for her and go cheat on him, then breaks that nigga's brain. Part of my language. Then breaks his brain, and then he ends up taking her life because he would have died for her. And I think that's the point that people don't get. He would have died for her. And that's why some of these men are doing what they're doing. They shouldn't be doing it. This is not a excuse. This is just a outside observation. I would have died for her and she went and slept with another man like it wasn't nothing. Woo! So women are not submitting to their husbands. And because women aren't submitting to their husbands, children are not obeying their parents. I don't understand how people don't get this. There's an ordinance for a reason. Men are not loving their wives the way that they should. Wives are not obeying their husbands, and so therefore children, pardon me, not obeying, I used the wrong word. Wives are not submitting to their husband. So therefore children aren't obeying the parents. What's the biggest problem we got out right now? What's the biggest issue we have right now? The YNs, right? That's one of the biggest issues we have in our community. The little young dudes running around murdering each other and killing other people by accident. The little young dudes running around fighting over nothing. Over nothing. And then they're going to become adults, never learn a lesson, and then as adults fight over nothing. Just something to be mindful of. So when I hear Democrats, liberals, be for all the agendas that hurt black people and black men specifically, I want to know why you guys are on their side. I want to know what have the liberals done to require this type of favor. I want to know. Because as far as I can tell, the liberals haven't done anything to receive this type of love from the black community. And I don't want to hear they freed the slaves because they didn't. That was the Republicans. Hold on. Wait. The first major federal rights law, Civil Rights Act of 1866, right? Passed over President Andrew Johnson's veto. Wait, was Andrew Johnson a Democrat or a Republican? Was Andrew Johnson a Democrat or a Republican? Ah! That's crazy, ain't it? So he vetoed rights for black people. So how did it get passed? Right? Hold on. I just want to copy the text, fam. Oh, I didn't put nothing. My bad. I wasn't not understand what was happening. I'm like, what the heck? Hold on. Ow. What was the civil rights law passed in 1866? They said 1866, right? All right. Right? Unanimous, a near unanimous Republican vote. No, what party? No, I say who. The Democratic president voted against it by vetoing it. The Democrats in the House Senate voted against it. What has the Democrats done that you guys think that they're the ones that should be running shit? As a minority party in Congress, Democrats voted against the bill more frequently. I don't know what they've done. Hold on. What civil rights laws was passed in 1960s? Okay. Who voted in favor for the Civil Rights Act passed in 1964? Who voted in favor for the Civil Rights Act passed in 1960? What? Who voted in favor for the Civil Rights? Was passed by bipartisan coalition. Okay. Both of them. So the Republicans have never voted against. When have the Republicans voted against? When has the Republicans voted against civil rights for black people? I'm curious. When? What's the Civil Rights Act of 1964? We're going to see what that one is. He argued that it was unconstitutional expansion of federal power, and his position helped shift black voters decisively. However, it was important to note that the higher percentage of Republicans in both the House and Senate voted in favor of the bill. So the president was against it, but the Republicans in the Senate and in the House voted for it. As Southern Democrats strongly opposed. Hold on, Republican presidential nominee. So he didn't even. There's no Barry Goldwater president. He didn't even get elected. Democrats voted against it largely. No, but this makes sense. Okay, they said they voted. I'm going to say something real quick. They said that they voted against They said that Rand Paul, not one of my most favorite people, just so we could be clear, of Kentucky, single-handedly held up an earlier version of the bill. He argued that the definition of lynching was too broad and could apply to lesser crimes. I 100% agree with that. I think that when we're talking about lynching or anything like that, any kind of grave BS, it has to be exact. I'm on time with that. I think that it has to be exact. I think that if we're talking about lynching, we have to be talking about lynching. Just so we could be clear. The reason why I say this is because the Democrats use a lot of loopholes to get stuff going. So let's move back over to this conversation real quick, and let's have this conversation about the CR, the continuing resolution. So basically, what the Democrats is trying to do is put a loophole in there. And the loophole they're trying to put in is so illegals could get free Medicaid. The Democrats are just not going to allow, the Republicans is just not going to allow that to happen. So the Democrats are arguing that they want this provision put in there, and it's not going to get illegals health care, but it already has. It's the same provision that was put in during Obamacare, and that provision was used over the years to get free health care for illegals. So the people that's like, why is that an issue? Because the government isn't even looking. They're just paying whatever for the illegals. So the hospitals are taking the illegals first and the American citizens second. When people are showing up to the emergency room, they're taking the illegals first because they know that the government is going to give them back their money. You understand? While when they care for an American citizen who don't got insurance, they might have to fight to get that money back or not get it back. See, this is what I mean by I be having conversations with people and they don't know what they're talking about. Like they'll be talking and they'll have no idea what they're talking about. And the more I know what I'm talking about, the angrier they get. It's like a lot of these Democrats, they don't want to talk to anybody unless that person is don't know nothing. They only want to talk to blank slates and people who agree. That's it. So I say all that to say this. Hold on. What the Democrats love to do is put little loopholes in everything. Right? And so I think that particular, the lynching thing, because I remember when this was happening, kinda, they wanted to make it so broad and they wanted it to be more concise. They wanted it to be to the point. Because if it's to the point, then we actually going after the lynchers. Whereas if it's broad, then we could just shove a ton of people who aren't even doing lynching in that category. So now it looks like we got a lynching problem in America. Do you get it? When you have one lynching, but you have 8 other jump-offs that fall inside. You have one lynching this month, right? Somebody actually lynched somebody, right? I'm not saying that happened. I'm saying if. And then that same month, you got 10 other things that aren't lynching but fall inside of that category and get labeled as lynching. Now, a couple of years later, they're going to be like, yo, they got a lynching epidemic over there. They don't got a lynching epidemic. They got a categorizing lynching epidemic. So I'm on time with this. You're going to hear black people that's going to say, oh, that's not fair. You a coon. No, I worship the Most High. And so therefore, since I worship God, there's just certain things that I can't do. And there's just certain things that I just can't get with. And the number one thing is, I don't separate people by color. right? I might categorize them by you're a black person. I'm categorizing you. I'm not separating you, though. You're still inside of the big group of people that I consider to be followers of Christ. So as far as I'm concerned, there's people who are following Christ and there's people who are not following Christ. Now, inside of the people that's following Christ, there's some stuff going on. And inside of the people that's not following Christ, there's some stuff going on. But that's basically the big delineation that I have with human beings. The people who are following Christ and the people who are not following Christ. And I'm not saying one is good and the other is bad. Because there's a ton of people who are, quote unquote, in the group of people who are following Christ that are not following Christ. And there's a ton of people that's like they don't follow Christ, but they do everything that God wants them to do. They just haven't woken up to who they are yet. Right? They might still be in an aspect of their life that, you know, they don't deem allows for them to be qualified to be under God's protection. But I'm telling you, you are qualified. All you have to do is move away from Satan and move towards the Most High. That's it. A couple of years ago, when I moved out here, and this is why I try to tell you, this is such a blessing. Everything that's going on with me is such a blessing. I love living where I'm living. I think that if I was living in, this is going to sound messed up. This is going to sound so messed up, but bear with me. I think that if I was living in a place where I was like with mostly black people, I think my life would be so much more difficult. I just do. And the reason why I think that is primarily because I'm on the internet. And when I first moved out here where I'm at right now, those are the people who had problems with me. The people who still have problems with me out here where I live. I might not have not one Caucasian, European person out here to have a problem with me. I don't think I have one. I got some Spanish people that got an issue with me. I don't know them. They just don't like me. And I got a ton of black people that have an issue with me. I don't know them, mind you. These aren't people that I know. I have this one dude that him and his friend was trying to extort me. That didn't work. Now they trying to do some other shit. And I had to move away from something that I'm doing. So shout out to, I'm not going to say whatever, but shout out to a ton of people. I love y'all. I hope everything succeeds and works. But there's no way in the world somebody is going to try to extort me and I'm ever going to be cool with them. That's just not going to happen. And simply asking me to be cool with somebody that tried to extort me is just too much for me. I'm just being honest. We have to make a choice and a decision. Are we moving with God or are we moving with Satan? We have to make a decision. No matter how bad I'm doing, I'm not moving towards Satan. And I think I've proven that in my life. I don't care how bad things get. Satan, behind me. I don't care how bad things get. If I gotta suffer, I'm gonna do it in the name of Christ. And I'm gonna do it with a smile. Because I understand that when you suffer in the name of the Most High, that's you showing how much you love God. So I do want to say thank you to all of the people who do evil shit to me. How would God know how strong my faith is if you guys didn't exist? How would God know how much I loved him if you guys didn't exist? And I think that we, as believers in the Most High, have to look at the world like that. The extortion didn't work. I don't know what y'all trying to do now, but I'm going to back away and let y'all have that. Because God is telling me that that's what I'm supposed to do. Also, ask them how much money they got from me, and ask them if I actually did the thing they was trying to extort out of me. I didn't do it. The thing they was trying to extort out of me, they didn't get it. Just so we could be clear. Let's get our verse of the day, if y'all don't mind. Ephesians 1:7. In whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, according to the richness of his grace. Isn't it wild how it seems like sometimes everything I talk about just resonates organically around me? Very small part of this show is scripted. Just the only thing that's scripted is these clips.
There was this banner.
No,
that
the
was
clips that I be showing
on the beach in Tel Aviv.
That's it.
A giant thank you.
Only part of this show that's
just to kind of
scripted. Everything else is just what happens. I just want to be clear on this. I need a script though. I thought I'd be dating that girl by now, and then I'd have some help. Anyway. In any regard. In any regard. I don't want to hold y'all. I think I'm about to let y'all go. I'm looking through stuff right now. I think I'm about to let y'all go. I had some other stuff I was thinking about talking about. What the fuck? Sorry, hold on. Nah, so hold on. I want to talk about a thing. All right. So I'm gonna show y'all what I posted on the internet real quick. What I posted on Instagram real quick. And then I'm gonna talk about a thing. Yeah, I got completely distracted as soon as I picked my phone up. Hold on. I'm gonna put this in and I'm gonna read it real quick. I want y'all to see what I posted. So I posted this on Instagram. So it says, the way the world is now, men have to be protective of their time, energy, and resources. We live in a world now where women have to sometimes make the first move. And so the caption I put under that is, this happens because men don't want to be called thirsty and are being treated like simply looking at a female is an SA charge. Now women complain the men they want don't make the first move. While the whole time, men just don't want to be called a rapist or other foolishness just because we want to get to know you. Passports are looking better than American men by the day. So I want to say something real quick. I want to be clear about this. The type of man most of y'all women want, right? Because the small group of men that y'all actually want, right? And y'all all fighting over the same small group of men, right? But the type that y'all actually want, not the ones that you think you want, but the ones you actually want, the ones that's going to love you, provide for you, treat you in a way that's going to make you feel like you're the most special thing on the planet, all of those things. Two things happens. The first thing is the worst. And that's you actually get with one of these dudes. And y'all don't know how to treat them. So now the world loses a good man. Because now he doesn't feel like he can give that love to another woman. That happens all the time. And I'm telling you it does because I'm a man and I know men that has happened to. And don't be confused. This is a thing that some men talk about with other guys, right? Second thing is this. Those men just aren't approaching you. I haven't approached a female on purpose in so long, I'm not even sure I know how to anymore. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not sure I know how to anymore. Now, this is coming from a person who's extremely charismatic. I literally, when I'm not in Coney Island, I literally just walk around and create conversations with random strangers, men, women, all the time. I'm always talking to people who I do not know when I'm not in Coney Island. I have to preference that because I don't talk to people around here that much unless I know them. But when I go somewhere else where I don't have to worry about certain foolishnesses, I talk to everybody. I used to talk to everybody around here, but I stopped basically because of some people, including the individual I was talking about earlier that was trying to extort me. Just so we could be clear. So I don't really talk to people around here that much. They are good people, but I don't know who's the good people or not. So I stay to myself. But because the world is the way that it is now, I can't even tell you the last time I actually approached a woman to actually try to get her number. 7, 8 years ago? But I can't tell you how many times I wasn't trying to get a female's number and, I say something like, excuse me, because I'm trying to get past, or, hey, you dropped something, and then I just got all the bullshit. Trying to be helpful. Get all the bullshit. Just being friendly. I don't even necessarily find you attractive. You're probably an attractive woman. I'm not trying to crap on nobody. But I can look at a female and say, she's not ugly, but she's not for me. I'm surprised more men can't do that. If they can't. I mean, I don't know if they can or they can't. But if they can't, I'm surprised more men can't. So I just simply don't approach women. And I know so many men exactly like me. It's just too much of a hassle. The worst thing that could actually happen is you get the woman and she's not the type of woman that knows how to treat you. That's actually the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing isn't you don't get the number. The worst thing is you get the number and she's just a terrible person. Just like if a woman gives a man a number and he's a terrible person. That's the worst thing that can happen in that situation. It's something I wanted to talk about. For real, fam. Men are not putting out the right type of energy. Women are also not putting out the right type of energy. So therefore, our children have been cursed. And that's why we have YNs. Because of the ordinance. God, Christ, man, woman, child. That's the ordinance. When a woman tries to be a man or a man tries to be a woman, they are breaking the ordinance. Whether they are physically trying to look that way or just emotionally trying to act that way. They're breaking the ordinance. I keep telling people about the situation about how when I actually started dating Kendra, and I keep telling people, well, I didn't keep telling people, but I just need y'all to understand. I tried to get a number. She turned me down. The next time I seen her, I just tried to avoid her because of the thing that I just told you. Women like to pretend like you're doing something bad to them just because you think that they're attractive and you're trying to get their number. Now, all of a sudden, you're a rapist. Now, all of a sudden, you want to hurt people. All of the worst things in the freaking world. They just make things up in their brain and then try to label you as that. So when I tried to scoop Kendra and she was like, she wasn't interested, I was like, okay. And I was walking back into the building because I was at work. I was walking back into the building and she was walking out of the building and I literally went like this to avoid her. While turning my head in the other direction, she had to call me more than once for me to turn around and then walk up to me to get the exchange of information. This is the world y'all created. Women created this world. It sucks. Completely sucks. Just so y'all can know. It completely sucks. Then they gonna be like, yeah, but that's because you're not a real man. No. You ever heard of Emmett Till? That's what y'all brought back. Y'all brought that energy back. A man simply looking at you is a reason for that guy to either be unalived or be put in prison. Y'all brought that back. With that being said, I love y'all. Everybody have a blessed day. I'm going to get up out of here. I don't really have anything I'm supposed to be getting to, but I want to find some stuff to get into. I ain't going to lie. Also, I'm suspecting we might have another morning coffee tomorrow. I'm going to try to be consistent with it. I don't have a light. My light broke. I guess I get another one soon. You know, like the ring light and shit. It broke. I guess I get another one. So I dropped it apparently. I dropped it a ton of times. In any regard, yo, look, I love y'all. Everybody go out there in the world, do something worth doing, man. Like real talk. Be a part of something. Do something worth doing. When I try to express y'all that I don't go out much, but whenever I do go out, I try to go outside to go do God's will. Period. I have like no other purpose right now to be outside. I don't go outside for my own benefit. If I got to go to the store, I go to the store. But other than that, I only go outside because I'm doing God's will somewhere. I'm helping somebody over here. I'm doing something over there that's going to benefit those people over there. That's the only reason why I generally go outside. This is why all of those lies that y'all been telling on me don't work. Because I moved to a community that are not black people. And they're not Spanish-speaking people. So y'all can't lie to them. They see me every day. And remember, I've been telling y'all this for how long? Why people be making lies up on the internet about me? They see me every day. They see how I interact with people. They see the energy that I have. They see what kind of person I am. And then you are making lies and comments that is totally the opposite of who I am. Like these people are stupid. Those other people that believe you, they are actually stupid. But these people, they're not. And the more y'all lie on me, the more God is going to protect me. The more whacked out bullshit that you make up, the more crap you just make up, the more God is going to protect me. One of the big problems I think that we have in the black community is that people just don't like God. I'll say it. People in the black community, we don't like God. Not we, because I like God. I love God. But generally speaking, people in the black community don't like God. They'll act like they do. But the minute that it comes to that they have to do anything that God wants them to do, or anything that falls inside of the line of what God is preaching, they go against it. And I'm not saying we all do everything that God wants us to do, because we don't. There's things that I do that run contrary to what God would want me to do. Don't get this confused. But these people, they do very little to nothing that God wants them to do. And that's just how our people are. Imagine voting for a president because she says she's going to allow for you to unalive your unborn baby. I don't think women understand how much God hates that. I don't think women understand how much God hates abortion. And the argument is always, well, if somebody get raped, or if somebody this happens to somebody, or if that happens to somebody. That's always the argument. And I just started coming to a conclusion about a thing. Whatever God wants to happen is going to happen. Right? So if you're supposed to get an abortion, you will. If you're not, you won't. It just, that's what it is. But I can't stress this enough. You have to stop having sex with people who you do not want to have children with. Men and women. See, the difference between a man and a woman is, in this particular situation, many times the man is going to, independent of whoever he gets pregnant, he's going to be happy he has a child. I just don't think women feel that way. I think women get pregnant and then be like, oh man, not this guy. So they run and go get the abortion. You shouldn't have slept with him. Then you're going to say, you shouldn't tell me what to do with my life. I'm not trying to. This is advice. I think, this is real talk, I think that you should, if you're a man, you should always try to broach, and in a positive way, because you want to get the truth, whether the woman that you're meeting ever had an abortion or not. There's a reason why I'm saying this, right? And then whether she had an abortion or not, then you can make your decision. Because if you think that a lot of these women only have one abortion and never have another one, I don't know what to tell you. Your child might be next. Right? Also, men, just strap up. I don't think you should be having sex with anyone that you don't want to have kids with, man or woman. This is just me. If I don't see, and this is why I'm different. I'm ready to die alone. Like, real talk. I'm fine with that. It's not a big deal. Because God says that he prefers that a man suffer in a desert than have have a wife that is difficult. He prefers a man goes through all type of different suffering, because that would be better for him than to have a difficult wife. And I think the implication of that is, if you have the wrong type of wife, not only will your life at home not be comfortable, but she may help you move away from God. Men do a lot for the women that they love. They take a lot of chances. I was with a female and I loved her. I'm not going to tell you that I didn't. And the only reason why I didn't ask her to marry her, there's only one reason why I never asked her to marry. She doesn't even know why. But the reason is, I just didn't feel like I could worship God with her. Every time a situation came up where I was like, I really can't do that, it was the kids. So don't worry, we got to do this because it's tradition. And I'm like, we can't make different traditions. Like, the Bible has a ton of dope ass holidays. Like, if celebrating a holiday is important to you, which is nothing wrong with that, the Bible has a ton of them. Could we do those? Because I promise you, if we celebrate those holidays, blessings are going to come to us. God is going to see that we're keeping his days. He's going to bless our union, which is the most important thing in a relationship. And when he blesses this union, it's gonna be good for us. It's gonna be good for your children, any future children we might or might not have. So the individual is a great person. Don't get it confused. And there was a period during our relationship where they were inquiring whether I had any intentions of marriage, and I did. So I said that I did. But we were never able to get to that area where I felt comfortable that I could worship the Most High. We were just never able to get there. So that's why I'm saying I'm fine dying alone. Because if God isn't going to send me the type of woman that I want to be with and that I can also worship the Most High with, if I'm not going to meet her, then it's best that I stay alone. I haven't lived the most spotless life. And we all have things that we have to own up to in order to be able to be right with God. So just to be mindful. That's my favorite photo of all of the of all the icy queens, by the way. That's my favorite photo, the one that's up there right now. With that being said, I love y'all. Please go out there into the world, do something worth doing, and then stamp God's name on it. I promise you, he loves you. I promise you, he wants great things to happen for you. And I promise you, if you're there for him, he's there for you. Now, as far as me meeting somebody, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. As far as I know, there is a female that God would like for me to go and if I don't want to say too much more, but I get the impression. Like, comment, subscribe, join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. That's all I got on this one.